Okay, so let's go on with some more optimization. So yeah, most of this stuff is quite easy. Like what we can do is these two, Q, merge at center. And I'm as I said before, like I'm not going to spend too much time on this. By this point, I do expect you to kind of like know which points you can and cannot remove, because it is actually quite basic. Simply just say that you do not want to remove anything that actually affects shape. Now and then sometimes it's good to not have like very large open spaces and to just keep like a line of this running through. And this is just because with the baking, it often reduces the problems, I would say. It often reduces the problems that occur with baking. But worst case scenario, if you remove it, you will just see the problem at baking and you'll just re-add like an extra edge back. So that's about it. So that's why over here, like these pieces, I rather just keep these lines and run them like this, because it is a little bit of extra poly count, but it just makes your model, like clean geometry, and you don't really need to worry like about a lot of stuff. And when you're baking, the bake is almost always immediately like correct and all that kind of stuff. So I find that it has benefits. It depends, of course. If I am making a model, for example, for a very like in my work, I make games for PC and console. So of course, yeah, you can use a little bit more budget for that. However, if you are making it, for example, for a mobile game or for a VR game, then yes, you need to optimize the hell out of it. Every single polygon counts pretty much. But then you would also use different techniques. So this tutorial is definitely for techniques to use in PC games or console games or anything like that. Yeah, here, stuff like this, I can just do like a target weld toggle. These can go in the corner. Like that doesn't really matter. And for the rest, what I would say is, I think a good thing for me to do is to just tell you. So for example, these, I'm not gonna do it, but these you can like merge together a little bit. I might do it off camera actually. These two, or these few pieces you can like merge together and down here. So yeah, I might do some small optimization off camera, but it will not be noticeable. It will just be me double checking my work around here. So that corner is fine. So yeah, for the rest I would say not too much stuff. If you want to be really low poly, you can actually remove this entire edge around here, because it can be covered by the normal map. But I like to push my quality a little bit by having it as geometry. And yeah, same over here. Technically, these ones you can also like merge into each other. For the rest, yeah, that should be fine. And over here, these pieces you could also just do like a target weld, and you could just like merge these to the top. I'll do it actually, just because for the sake of example, just merge these together. Yeah, I'm just gonna do these over here. There we go. Just because these ones, yeah, they don't really add much value, and they also, it doesn't make your geometry look cleaner if you keep them. So we can just as well quickly like start removing those few pieces. That should be no problem. Whoops. Yeah, after this, all we need to do is just clean up the handle and the little locking mechanism. And then we can start with our unwrapping, I believe. And we are going to, as I said before, there we go. We are going to unwrap both crates at the same time. But I have a technique that we will use. So we will first do like the unwrap without placing it into a 1x1 square for each crate, and then later on what we will do is we will just go ahead and then start placing everything together. But of course, in between those steps you need to do a duplication of some models, and that's how we are going to save enough time without having any problems. I just hope that the baking doesn't give us any problems, because then it all of a sudden becomes like a lot more work. But for now, here you go. Low poly, nice. Let's press Alt U. Let's Alt I on this one. target while toggle is still turned on, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just merge these together and these because they do not add anything. Again, these ones we can also merge together. Like, actually, you know what? We only need to merge one together, and then we can just double click on it. Just press Ctrl backspace to get rid of it. The Ctrl backspace method is often a lot quicker. I like to keep this line over here just because it's a bit cleaner. And don't forget that we want to actually delete the back face like we did in the high poly. This one is fine because we already removed the bottom face. This one, let's do Alt-I. Let's see, so that's already good. I guess what you can do is you can merge and center these few lines and then just like remove one of them on each. And if you want, you can also just make it even more cleaner by turning off target while toggle, by moving these pieces in the center like this. And yeah, over here, Q, merge at center, Q, merge at center, and Q, merge at center. These pieces, let's delete that. I think we also did that in the high poly, but must have not done it in the low poly. So let's just delete all of these faces, which we do not need. They're wasted geometry and they're wasted UV space. And for the rest, I think that's fine. Like, sure, if you want, you can do small stuff like merging these together. But yeah, looking at it like that, there's a bunch of stuff that you can still do. For example, over here, if you want, you can also merge these together. But yeah, after this one, I'll call this one done. So I'm gonna call this done. It's very tempting for me to like keep going and like keep seeing like vertices, but I need to keep myself in bay and not do that too much. So I think that's it for the low poly. Yeah, so save your scene. Don't know why it's taking so long, but okay. So low poly, let's double check that the high poly is still intact. Just turn off wireframe toggle. Nice, okay. So we have our low poly here and we have our crate low poly. Let's go ahead and let's start with our UV unwrapping. And I will do that in a new chapter just to keep everything nice and organized.